Hello guys, it's me, Kevin Zurkowski here, and I'm going to be showing you how I modify my stabs to make them sound good. So for this, you're going to need a bandaid, tweezers, a pen or pencil. I'd recommend a pen, scissors, and a ruler for the bandaid hole mod. So I'm going to take these out, and these are just extras that I have left over. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to be working with the 2U. So the first step I like to do is move my stabilizers off to the side and open up the Band-Aid. And the flexible fabric ones just work a little bit better. So what I like to do first to make this work easily, I like to turn this, I like to take that off and then stick it right about there. Turn it sideways. It's a little bit easier to remove. Then I'm going to take my scissors and cut down the side. And then the other side off too. This will just make it a little bit easier to do. So now what I like to do, my scissors down, we're not going to need this for a little while. So we're going to take this ruler here. I want to slide everything out of the way, take my pen. I want to measure out 4 millimeters that way by 2 millimeters that way, or that way. So I'm going to take this because I know that's flat. I know this way is flat, so I'm going to cut this way. I'm going to take my ruler. It's a little bit harder. Something small may work better. But I'm going to take this and up to the millimeters. And then I'm going to go 4 over. So 4 is right about here. I like to draw a little line then, just so I know where it is then. There you got 4 millimeters. And then I'm going to need to draw 2 millimeters. For this, I'm just doing 2, so I'm only going to have to draw 2 lines. Like so, there's a line here, here, there. So there's my squares or rectangles that I need to cut out. So what I like to do first is, I'm going to cut it like here. I'm going to cut these like so, cut along those lines, just to make sure I got it all. I'm going to go a little bit further, just to make it a little bit easier. But yeah, so the first one, I'm going to go in here, just cut along this line, like so. So then there's a little extra, I'm going to cut that off. So, have a little excess band-aid on here. Try and cut off all that stuff if you can. No worries if you can't. This, there's just a little string. I'm trying to pull off. There we go. So then you're going to be left with these small little pieces of band-aid here. I want to take these, now I want to separate them with the scissors and cut in between it. There we go. Now we're left with 2 pieces of band-aid. Now these are going to go in the actual inserts right here. So now this is where I recommend the tweezers. And that's why I also cut it that way, because you can still remove it. You want to kind of just get it like this, just to get it started. I'm going to take my tweezers. It does help if you have pointier tweezers, which I also don't have, but these work good enough. I'm going to remove the band-aid from there. And now what we're going to do is take in the insert. I want to slot the band-aid in right about to the flat part. Move the band-aid a little bit higher on the tweezers, just to the edge of them, like so. Taking the little piece of band-aid and sticking it in there. I want to make sure you get it all the way up to the fabric part. I like to use the wire to adjust micro adjustments. Push it in a little. I want to move it forward, so I'm just going to push a little forward with the wire. I'm going to try and push it forward with the wire more to get it out of the way, like this. Just make sure there isn't really any sticking out. So I try to attain, there's nothing sticking out. What you can do with the wire too, you can actually push around that bend to kind of flatten it out. and push like this. It really just helps get the Band-Aid stuck in there. On the other side too, just to make sure it's all flush on the bottom. And as you can see, on both sides now, if you look, there's a piece of Band-Aid in there. The little piece of Band-Aid in there, now that'll help with it ticking. So this next part, I'm just going to go a little bit faster, just only explaining the key points. You want to grab the Band-Aid with the tweezers on the edge of it. And it really would help if you point your tweezers. But yeah, then you're going to want to take this insert, push the little Band-Aid in there. This one a little bit easier than the other one. And then I want to scooch it over. Move the wire, bring the wire up. Push it more to the side because it's sticking out a little bit. And then I'm going to fold it over with the wire. Make sure it's sitting in there. Then you're going to want to push down like so. Like this. I'm going to push down on the wire. Just to get it sit flat in there. There's another housing done. Or insert. There we go. So now what we're going to want to do is grab a brush and lube. So now that we got the brush and lube, we want to shake up your lube a little, make sure it's nice and mixed. I did just mix it yesterday, but yeah, you can see I don't have very much left, but it's enough to do this. So I want to take the housings. There's the little housings. I'm going to take on my brush, I want to get about a decent amount on there, like so, and then I'm just going to go around the housing, start painting it on there. A little bit more. Yeah, sufficient coating. Enough to cover it. I like to get the front and back of it too, and I try to get up to the top part just to silence it a little. The upstroke, I try to silence that a little. There we go. And then in the front, I like to touch that up a little, get to the top. And I'll silence the upstroke a little bit. Some of these clacky. So if you look now, there's a little bit light on there. Could add a little bit more. So I'm going to do that. You just want to make sure that you have a nice thick coating on the sides. Like so. I got that nice and covered now. You just want a nice decent coating on there, if you can see that. It's a decent coating. But yeah, you just want that decent coating. That should be sufficient. I like to take the stem, a little bit more lube on the brush, start kind of like painting it on the stem. About double or so of what you would for a switch, like that. And then I'm going to turn it around, start painting it on a little, like so. And then I also like to touch the front leg, the little legs. I like to touch the top of them. It'll silence out your upstroke a little bit. Touch them in the back one too, just get the top of it. And now with the Band-Aid hold mod, I like to a little bit more lube on the brush. Make sure there's none on the back. I'd recommend not using your hand, but when using it for a while, then you're going to want to just take a little lube, brush a little bit of lube on that Band-Aid. Just a little bit. There we go. Now we're going to stick this stem into the housing, making sure that the little divot part goes to the back of it, like so. There's one. And we're going to take the other one, the second one. I'm going to grab more lube on the brush. This, maybe a little bit more. I'm going to go around the housing, coating it evenly. Like so. Back and front, you get the back. I like to touch the top parts. Top part really just helps with silencing that annoying upstroke clack that you get. So yeah, that's housing is done. Maybe I'll get a little bit more. That should be good. Like that. Nice even coating of lube. That housing. Nice even coating. That should be enough. And I'm going to take the stem, get a little bit more lube on the brush. Hooked all the stem top and bottom. And then just start painting on a little bit. Just about double what you would for a stem. Just so you can see it. It shouldn't really appear much when you look at it. You should see a slight bit of color. But yeah. Just like that. And then I like to touch up those two spots. So if you hold it like this, then you can just kind of brush on some lube on those two front and back legs. I'm sorry if you can't see it. These two parts I'll point to with my brush. At the top of that part right there. On the other side too. Those little pieces, and then I like to do the top of the stem like this. Just grab a little bit of lube on the brush. Wipe off the other side of the brush. And then you're just going to want to paint a little bit in there. That band-aid. I do that just so it doesn't soak up all my lube. Yeah, then you're just going to want to take the stem, same as the last one. Push it in like that. There we go, we got two. So now the last part is the wire. You want to go a little bit heavier on the wire. So I like to take about that much or so. Start rubbing it on the wire. A nice even coating. I'd recommend a decent sized brush. This is a size 2 round brush. I did get this from a store called Michael's, if you know what that is. It's a nice craft store. But yeah, you're just gonna want to get a nice even coating on the wire. Try to get a little bit more if you can on the top of the wire. And you're gonna want to get around the bend past there. It's a little far, but it works. So yeah, and then you see there's a little bit more on this part, because that's going to be the top. That's the bottom. But yeah, you just see nice even coating of lube on there. Get a little bit more. Nice sufficient coating. Nice and even. Like so. It should be good. There, that should be good. You see there's just a nice even coating on this wire. So once you have that done, you're going to stick this into the housing. Making sure, look, which it's a little heavier on this side, so I'm going to stick it in. When you stick it in, you want to make sure that you go straight in like this. Make sure you get around that bend and then just push it in. And there we go. There's one side. It moves up and down. You want to make sure you get in the bottom hole, because the top hole, it will go in. It will go in that top hole, but it will not return. Stay down. Take some lube on the brush, like this. Here we go. But even, just like last time. Want it nice and even on there. Nice even coating. You want to make sure you get a nice even coating. If you see it's a little bit bare on this spot, try and move around the lube a little bit to make it look more even. There we go. It's an even amount around the wire, if you can see that. So now we're going to take the other housing and stick it in. We're going to get in there. A little bit more difficult, but there we go. Clipped it in. There is a lubed 2U stab right here. So now if you see, if I hold both sides and I move the wire, both sides go up and down. Should be a great stab. There you go. That is how I lube and band-aid hole mod my stabs. And now, credit, I did not come up with this band-aid hole mod. a user on Discord named Tetarian came up with it, and it's also been more developed by Longtran. He also has a video on it. I just want to make another video showing how I lube it and do this mod to a stab. But yeah, I did not come up with this. I have done a little bit. This is my own measurements. That's about all I did, but I've tested it. It works nice. If you listen to my stabs, there's none of that ticking noise a lot of users have experienced. So I hope this video helps you, and I hope you can remove all that rattle and ticking from your stabilizers, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.